Welcome, everyone. My name is Felice Cohen. We're here for the Sapphic Lit pop-up interview with award-winning author of almost 90 books, Leslea Newman. Leslea, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I've known you since I think it's 95,
Oh my
1995.
goodness.
So it's been a while. So I'm thrilled to have you. So, you've written so many books, and we're going to talk about a couple of your children's books today. And I know you wrote Heather Has Two Mommies. Can you tell us what inspired you to write that book?
So this is a piece of like lesbian urban lore, but it happens to be true. I was walking down the street in Northampton, which often has the affectionate nickname of Lesbianville. And a lesbian mom stopped me on the street and she said, I don't have a book that I can read to my daughter that shows a family like mine, a kid with two moms. Somebody should write one. And she kind of looked me in the eye. She didn't really mean somebody, she meant me. And so I took on that challenge.
Excellent. Excellent. She doesn't get any of the royalties, right?
No.
So, what was your response to the book when it came out? This was came out in 89, right?
So it came out in December of 1989. And so, nobody would publish this book. So a friend and I co-published it ourselves long before Kickstarter or GoFundMe. We actually sent licked envelopes and sent letters to people. So I didn't really think anybody was going to care about this book except lesbian moms. But it became this rallying cry, right? So, lesbian moms loved it and were so excited about it. And then there were people who were not so excited about it or who actually were excited about it, but like not in the best way. So it propelled me to go out into the world to speak about LGBTQ rights because in defending my book, I was also defending our lives and our right to exist.
Yeah. I know I've read so many of your books, and I think Always Matt, is that for Matt Shepard? Matthew
Yeah.
Shepard? Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of rights and everything. So, now we've got book being banned and everything, and I know you've written so many children's books. We can see many of them behind you, and they're all beautiful and colorful, and my niece loves them. You've written several more and two more that have two mom families. Mommy, Mama, and Me, and Joyful Song, a naming story. So, what are those about?
So I think Mommy and Me, I think of as Heather's little sister. So it's a board book, very, very simple, 100 words on really thick pages, which can be chewed upon, that just take a very fun, typical day in the lives of these two moms and their non-gender specific child. Yes, I was way ahead of my time. That came out, I think, in 1994, something like that. Joyful Song, which is much more recent, I do know that that came out last year, is about a little boy named Zachary and his two moms, and he has a brand new baby sister, and they are on their way to synagogue to her naming ceremony, where they're going to announce her name and present her to the community so that she can receive many blessings.
That's very sweet. So the other book, Mommy, Mama, and Me, that you were way ahead of the curve there. What made you write that book or inspired
Honestly, a publisher asked me to write, a mainstream publisher, one of the like top five, asked me to write a board book about a kid who has two moms and a companion book, Daddy, Papa, and Me, which is a book about a kid who has two dads. So, I mean, that is really
you?
full circle, right? My friend and I begging people to
Right.
give us, actually, we were asked for $10 donations to publish Heather Has Two Mommies, all the way to being asked by a publisher, sought out and courted to write a book about a kid with two moms. So
Wow.
their progress is possible.
Absolutely. And your books have been from multiple publishers. What is the difference? What is that like with like the big
So, one publisher couldn't really keep up with me. So,
with
and I
all the
like
books
to
you're
eat, so I
churning
have
out?
to make more money than one book a year. So, each publisher, I've always had really, really good experiences. I feel so fortunate. I've had great editors who have found me great illustrators. I've had great publicists. So, what my philosophy is that each book finds the right home, right? It's beshert. It that everybody,
Right.
eventually finds where they belong.
I love that. I love that. So is there something about you that your readers might not know about? Anything surprising?
They might not know that I have a green belt in Shuriru karate.
Wow.
And
Okay.
during my test, I knocked a woman over purely with my voice.
How did
Uh,
that happen?
yeah, so yeah, I hope I didn't shatter her eardrum and cause permanent damage, but I yelled pretty loud.
That's awesome. So anything you're working on now? I know you're always working on books. You said you had seven
Yeah,
in the can?
I have a bunch of books coming out in the next 2 years. I have a book called Rainbow Cookies, which is about a bakery that gets harassed for baking cookies for Pride, and a little girl rallies her whole community to support them. I
Mm.
have a book called Something Sweet, a Sitting Shiva story, which is about sitting Shiva. I have a book called Welcome, a Wish for Refugees. Um, I always forget three. It's like the Seven Dwarfs. I can never remember all of them.
Oh,
But
that's great.
there is one more in my publisher. Oh, okay, I remembered. Song of the Dead Sea Scrolls, about the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh,
And
cool.
then in 2027, I have two companion books. The titles aren't finalized yet, but they're going to be something like Shabbat Shalom from my two moms and me, and Happy Shabbat from my two dads and me.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
nice. Keep it balanced. All right.
absolutely.
Any future books that will go back to what you started writing about early on? Some of the more sapphic?
So, I haven't really written fiction for adults in a long time, but I am writing a lot of poetry. So I'm hoping to put together a poetry collection for next year. I have a couple of recent-ish books. I Carry My Mother and I Wish My Father, which are about the end of my parents' lives, and they're really memoirs in verse. And then this new collection is more, it has themed sections, but it doesn't tell a story from beginning to end. I might call it My Wife's Lovers. What do you think of that title?
So that's a good title,
I think so.
as long as they're
It's
in the
actually the
present.
name of a painting, and the
Oh,
painting is of about 45 cats.
okay.
And that's what the poem is about. It's an ekphrastic poem, which means a poem that is inspired by a work of art.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. This was great. We look forward to reading all your books, and thank you again for coming on.
Thanks, Felice. Always great to chat with you.
You too. Thanks. Bye bye.